Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my updated Echo Warpath Void Knight for last Epoch. If you are a fan of Spin2Win, you are gonna love this. It's an absolute monster. As always, I will show you every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now what you're looking at right now is an Arena Echo at 1625 corruption. Yes, very, very high corruption. And the skills we are using is, of course, Warpath spec'd into Echo, so we can get a lot of little spinners. We're using Devouring Orbs, Anomaly. Anomaly is an instant cast, so you could click it while spinning. Symbols of Hope. I have an unspec'd lunge on the bar. And then we are using Abyssal Echos as well, and those are manually or automatically cast while we are spinning every 5 seconds. And ultimately, if anybody's ever played Spin2Win before, it is one of the easiest builds you can play. You spin and you win. Just like so many other skills, or so many of the skills for Sentinel, everything is pretty much automated. So you run around, the only thing you're really casting is Anomaly, and again, it is an auto cast. And then you could lunge from pack to pack if you don't want to spin the whole time. Very, very easy, even at 1625 corruption. Let me show you single target. Right now we are on the Spirits of Fire, exact same corruption, 1625, fighting the 3 fire bosses, which are now dead. Now really what I want to show you is the 1625 corruption Harbinger of Ash. This is a very, very tough Harbinger. Of course, he is in the corner. Come on. I want to be able to spin around you. Right. Still in the corner again. So agitating. Come on. Big damage numbers. All right, follow me out here. Come on. There we go. Pretty simple. You want to make sure you are moving enough to trigger more echoes. Spin around him. Damage. Final ward phase again. I just want to say this again. Online, we're not on an offline client. 1625 corruption. Smoked. Now, just for giggles, I will show you the Abyssal fight. I like including this in all of the build guides. So you got to see some gameplay. You got to see very, very high corruption. And now you can see the pinnacle boss, Abyssal. And it's the exact same thing as the Harbinger. He basically can't kill you. So you just move in circles around him, creating more and more echoes. And he just gets disintegrated. Look at that damage. Don't get dizzy. Abyssal, you are dead. Let me show you how to recreate this build. So now let's break down the skills, starting with our damage dealer, Spin2Win Warpath. And I'll try to direct you on what nodes you want to take first. Now for Warpath, first thing you want to do is actually come down here and bring down the cost. I think this is one of the first things you should do. There's nothing worse than running out of mana all the time while you are in Warpath. So the first thing I did was come down and reduce the channeling cost a little bit. Second thing I did was come over and actually turn this into a void skill. So these nodes right here, not these last two. I then came over and gave us multiplicative damage, but more importantly, if you are using a sword, 10% base crit chance. This is huge from a crit perspective, all right? So lower your mana cost, turn this into a void skill, and then get your crit. Then what you want to do is take Maw of the Deep, which is your time rot for multiplicative damage, and trigger Abyssal Echos. Now, if you're struggling with mana in any way, you could pull points out of here and put it into mana, or you could just turn off Abyssal Echos triggers if you need to. But it takes a while to kind of fine-tune your mana in the build, and I'll show you during the passives what I am using. The final 3 points right here are into movement speed so that you're not super slow when you are running around or spinning with Warpath. Moving over to Abyssal Echos. Now, first thing you want to do with Abyssal Echos is run over here and makes it where they echo twice so that they just keep hitting the same target. You're then going to come over here and blind enemies. You're then going to come down here and take damage versus blind and attack speed. And then you're just going to take all armor shred. So basically what Abyssal Echos is doing for you is it is blinding enemies. It's shredding armor, and I'm talking 50, 60 stacks of armor shred. And you're getting you're getting damage against blinded enemies and attack speed. So, and it's completely automated. Pretty nice skill. Moving over to Devouring Orbs, I have this set up the exact same way I did for Rive. First thing you want to do is come over and auto cast while moving. You then want to come up and take the multiplicative damage and mana, and you want to take the Void Essence chance. Void Essence, very important for this build. You're then going to come up and over, take the Devouring Orb, cast Abyssal Orb. You're going to take the Shred chance, and then lastly, chance to for Abyssal Orb. Moving over to Symbols of Hope. Symbols of Hope, first thing you want to do is come over to the left and get your damage, crit, and void conversion. So obviously we're a void build, so you want to convert symbols to void. You're then going to come up and over and get one extra symbol. And then if you have 24 points into the tree, you can come down here and get another symbol. And just know that if you only have 23 or maybe even 22, you should be fine pulling back a couple of the critical strike nodes to get this final symbol. Last but not least, Anomaly. Now you want to be able to cast Anomaly while you are moving. So what you want to do is come to the left and make it an instant cast. That way you don't have to stop spinning. You're then going to come over and take Triggered Instantly. You're then going to come over here to the right, and you're going to boost your Time Lord. This makes it where the bubble is cast on you. You're going to boost attack speed. You're going to boost critical strike chance, make it where it lasts extra seconds. And then I had one extra point. You could literally put this anywhere. I just threw it in cooldown recovery speed. That is the skills. So now let's break down the passives. At time of recording, I am level 100, so we have all of our passive points, and we're going to start in the base tree. And this is very simple. You're going to take strength and resistances, you're going to take vitality and health regen, and you're going to take less damage from nearby enemies. We love damage reduction. You're actually then going to jump over to Paladin and put 15 points in to unlock Symbols of Hope. Honestly, you could put these 15 points anywhere. I took Attunement and Elemental Resistance with Endurance Threshold for Uncapped, and we took Endurance and Flat Health. But any of the nodes, I like these two the best to unlock Symbols of Hope. Moving over to Void Knight, where we currently have 73 points invested. We have gone into Void and physical damage taken negative. We want more DR, and this helps us with resistance and life. We are boosting the base damage of our melee Void Spin2Win. We're taking Leech. We are boosting our critical strike chance and critical strike multiplier. These 5 points literally give us 73% critical strike multiplier. Unbelievably, the node's always been awesome for this tree. We're coming over and getting Void Penetration, Frailty Chance, and Slow. We are getting our multiplicative Void damage and less damage taken. We are fully spec'd into Echo. These 3 nodes are going to give you a 30% Echo chance, and this is going to be doubled when you are actually looking at the Warpath tree. Amazing Echo chance on Warpath. We're boosting our vitality and health, maxing out this node, and this is going to give us health per vitality. Now, when it comes to mana, these 2 nodes right here. Now, this is going to give you Void Essence, and you're going to get Void Essence from Devouring Orb. And this node right here, while you have 3 or more Void Essence, if you drop below 0 mana, happens all the time, you consume 3 Void Essence to set your mana back to 30% of your maximum pool. This effect has a 3-second cooldown. And without exaggeration, you probably fall to negative mana every 5 to 6 seconds. Sometimes when you're in like a fight against Aberoth or something tougher, it'll be every 3 to 4 seconds. But it's enough where that 3-second cooldown is almost perfect to totally maintain your mana. This node, Voidwell, is so important. All right. We have 4 into Mortal Cleave, and this is going to give you base crit chance and multiplicative damage on enemies that are lower life at 35%. And then 5 into Fluctuation, which is elemental damage taken as Void, and then less Void damage taken. Now, my final 5 points, I keep moving these all over the place. I keep going into the base tree and boosting attack speed. I keep going into Void Knight and giving more armor or more leech. I keep moving these around. But since I'm using a sword, I just keep going back into Forge Guard. This is going to give us flat 5 health and 10% melee attack speed. Know that you can move these around a little bit if you like, but this is what I've been using with Weapons Master. Those are the passives. Moving over to last Epoch tools, we're going to break down the blessings, idols, and gear, starting with blessings. Now, this is what I am currently using. Critical Strike Multiplier, All Res, Armor while channeling up to 650, Armor percent, and Mana. You need a good sized mana pool for this build. But of course, you could always switch these out based upon your gear. Moving over to idols. Now, the idols on here, you can always round out your resistances with idols. This is currently what I am using. I am using echo damage when a skill echoes and increase void melee damage. And I'm using 2 of these. I also have on here Warpath area and void melee damage. There's a really cool enchant for this 3x1 idol. Increase echo damage when a skill echoes and 5% chance to gain frenzy for 3 seconds when this echoes. And obviously you can stack this to get a 10% chance to frenzy for 3 seconds. Pretty cool enchant on these idols. The other ones I have are just health and physical resistance to round out my resistances. Now, moving over to gear, there's nothing required for this build, which means you don't have to go find this item for it to work. That being said, I do recommend using a sword, and I'm using the new Needle Sword. And the reason why is this is where we're getting the 10% base critical strike chance on Warpath. Also in the passive tree, we're getting the 10% 10% melee attack speed in the Forge Guard tree for using a sword. So I do recommend the Needle Sword. Now, other items we are using: Titan Heart, Shattered Chains, Siphon of Anguish, Weaver Relic, and Nihilus. Again, none of this stuff is required. The other items: Helmet, Vitality, Echo Damage, Double Life, Boots, Movement Speed, Vitality, Double Life, Gloves, Melee Attack Speed, Strength, Double Life, and Ring, Void Damage, Strength, Endurance, Health. Now, when it comes to gear, that 1625 corruption gameplay you saw, you can move up to higher end items. And obviously these are uber drops. And right now I am using a 3 LP Orin Sun Seal, Null Body Armor, Shattered Worlds, and Immortal Vise. So just know you can move up to even better gear if you have this stuff unlocked and you get a couple of slams, but just know, again, it is not required. So now let's talk leveling. This is not a leveling guide, just kind of get you moving in the right direction through the campaign. For me, it doesn't matter if I'm a Void Knight, Forge Guard, or a Paladin. I level the exact same way, and that is using one of my favorite skills in the game, Rive. I love this skill so much. And when you are using Rive, the first thing that I do is I come up and take this tree right here. This is going to give you attack speed. It's going to pull enemies in, but more importantly, it is going to give you kill threshold. So as you're moving through the campaign and you're killing campaign bosses, you only have to kill 85% of their life, and then they die. You could then come down here and boost your critical strike chance if you want, but ultimately this tree right here is what you want to take for Rive. Second thing you want is some kind of movement skill. Now for me, I like using Lunge. I'm one of the few people that actually like Lunge, but ultimately if you take Warrior's Renewal, so this tree right here, you will get multiple charges of Lunge, and after you lunge and use Rive, it resets the cooldown. So you can literally, you're not even running most of the time, you just lunge pack to pack. It just feels great, and you can move through the campaign very quick. If you're not a big fan of Lunge, you can also take Shield Rush. Shield Rush is actually faster and doesn't require a target, so you're good for like long stretches inside of the campaign. That one, the choice is yours. The third skill you want to take is Healing Hands. And the reason why you want Healing Hands is because you can automate it with your Rive with this node Cleric's Hammer. And that means every single time you use Rive, you're also going to be using Healing Hands. And you can turn Healing Hands into a melee skill right here with Blade. So that way it coincides perfectly with Rive. So if you take your movement skill, you take Rive, you take Healing Hands, and then if you make it to a fourth skill, I would take Symbols of Hope. You will absolutely fly through the campaign. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new and improved Echo Warpath Void Knight? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I can do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, only if you think I earned it. If I haven't earned it, I'm going to work harder for you. We are currently 800 subs away from 100,000 on YouTube. Just so excited and blown away by the support recently. Don't forget to check out my newly launched alpha website, actionrpg.com. Creators like myself, Babbling Bike, The Curse, Frozen Sentinel, all are on there creating. We've got multiple games coming online, new team section, new event calendar. It's going to be a really cool site when it's done. It is the first link in the description. I'm done. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.